Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of V80 Learn. In this tutorial we are going to see about Spring Boot Web Service. We will cover SOAP architecture and RESTful web service architecture, and we will see a demo on Spring Boot integration with the web service. Following technology are required or good to know before going to this tutorial: Java 8 or above, Maven or Gradle, Spring Core, SOAP or REST. Following technology are required to run our sample: JDK 1.8 or later, Gradle or Maven, Eclipse or Spring Toolsuite or any IntelliJ IDE. These are the URLs to download our demo code and URL for downloading Spring Toolsuite and Gradle. So before going on Spring Web Service integration, we will see in a high level what is SOAP and what is REST, and we will jump onto the demo. So web service follows client server model, and currently there are two types. One is SOAP and another is REST. So SOAP is nothing but simple object access protocol, which is nothing but HTTP and XML. It follows client server model, and the service which is going to run on the server will have a contract, and that contract is a kind of XSD definition, which is nothing but your WSDL file. So contract in the sense that has the information about the service and what are the parameter need to pass to the service and what will be your response you'll get in the service. So that information will be explained, it will be there in the definition. The file name is WSDL, and there's another important concept called marshalling and unmarshalling, which will happen via the framework itself. Any framework you are extending the you are going to use, like in .NET also there will be an inbuilt framework for marshalling and unmarshalling. Marshalling and unmarshalling is nothing but like converting an XML into object and object into XML. So these inbuilt capability will be there in any framework which involves building an web service architecture. So these are the high level information about the web service and SOAP. So now in a high level SOAP architecture involved in creating a service. The service provider will create a service, and appropriate WSDL, which is nothing but the definition of the service, will be generated and registered in a service registry. And there will be a consumer, which is nothing but our client. Using that WSDL, he will contact the service registry and get the information and call the provider. So the using the WSDL, the client consumer will generate the stub. Stub is nothing but your basic structure of your service, which is running in the server. Using the stub, the client will call the service and get the synchronous response for that service. The client will follow all the parameters as per the WSDL and pass the parameters as per the WSDL, and the appropriate response will be sent back from the service based based on the WSDL definition or based on the service definition which they are in the WSDL. So this is in a high level SOAP architecture. Let's move on to REST. REST in other hand, like it's stateless. It's a representational state transfer. It's a different another way of doing web service. REST uses the HTTP request type like get, put, post, or update or patch to send the request to the server and get the response appropriately, synchronous response appropriately. So there is the complex part of marshalling and unmarshalling will not be here, since it's a direct HTTP call, and the server will response to the HTTP call by appropriate response. So REST need to have like since there is no definition for it, like SOAP, there is no contract for it. REST is a lightweight, and also like it can handle any type of response, like XML, not only XML, it can also handle JSON or any format. So that's the advantage in REST. There are cons also, like, but in SOAP we have a specific architecture will be followed. There will be a definition and definition for the contract. Here the definition may be, we need to have a strict design principles need to be followed in a REST based architecture. Good design principle need to be followed in a REST based architecture. That's the difference between SOAP and REST. So we can Spring Boot have the capability, or Spring Boot framework have the inbuilt components for SOAP and REST. In our previous examples or many of our tutorials, we have seen mostly REST service. So in today's demo, I will show you the SOAP based architecture, invoked SOAP based web service invoked via one of our REST web service. Let's move on to our demo. So I have shared the URL in one of the slide actually. So when you download the code, you will able to see the project called consuming web service. In STS or Eclipse, just right click, import existing Gradle project, click next, select the complete folder and click on finish. That will load the consuming web service application like this. Once you have imported the project, you need to generate your stub. The resources folder will have WSDL file. You need to provide the WSDL file in the Gradle, and when you run the Gradle build task, client stub will be generated like this. The client stub is nothing but the definition, the stub of the web service which is running in the server. So coming to Spring Boot, in all our previous session you have seen what is Spring Boot application, class, annotations, and what is the controller. So today in this video I am going to concentrate on web service client, web service client. To write a web service client, after generating a stub, you need to add a class you need to add a class that extends web service gateway support, which is one of the Spring Framework abstract class. You need to extend that class. Once you extend that class, you will have access to a method called getWebServiceTemplate. Using this getWebServiceTemplate, you need to call a method called marshal send and receive. There only the marshalling and unmarshalling happens. That framework itself, Spring Framework itself, taken care of the marshalling and unmarshalling part. You need to pass the URL of that service running. So this is about the client, and configuration of the client will be like, you need to have exposed two beans. One is for generating JAX-B to marshaller and another for our web service client. Once these two configurations are done, you can access your web service using our client. So I have written a method, REST method, with the path invoke web service. So this service which is running in the server, when you pass any country name, it will provide the currency name of it. So what I am doing here is, I am using the web service client. I am calling a method which is exposed in the server, get country. I am passing the country name in this as a string. So in the response, you will get the currency name of that country. So this bean.get country will actually invoke the web service which is exposed in the server, and you will get the response of that, and that response we are going to print that in your HTML. Okay, I already started the application. So you can see, like when I invoke the invoke web service REST service, you are able to see the response coming from our server, which triggered another web service, and the response is 0. So in a high level, web service is a client server architecture, and there are two types of web service. One is SOAP based, one is REST based, and in our example we have built a REST service that invokes a SOAP service in the server. So both we are covered in our example. So for using Spring Boot REST service, the main annotation are at controller and at request mapping, and for any SOAP based service, we need to generate the stub of the service using the WSDL, and we need to write the client code by extending web service gateway support. So these are the points to be remembered when you are using Spring Boot and when you are working with Spring Boot web services, REST or SOAP. Both we are covered in the session. Thanks for watching. Happy learning.